All right, it's recording. So, hello, Marianne. Hi there. So, how do you want to start this out? Do you know about the play yet?
No, nothing.
Okay. Well, I can give a basic premise then. The very basic premise is there's these 4 students, writing students, all pretty young, who are studying with this guy named Leonard. And Leonard is this renowned teacher who they all have vied after. And people vie after him to work with him. Like he's one of the best in the business. And so they're all working to write with him. They had to pay $5,000 to do it. And they're working in New York. And they immediately find out that his main method of teaching is being ridiculously harsh, like sardonically harsh. Are you familiar with the movie Whiplash? Have you heard of that? I was going to say it's a lot like Whiplash in that essentially the teaching method is putting down the students for just about everything. But what's fascinating about your character, Izzy, is that even though for the other characters, when he reads their work, he essentially tells them, this is shit. That's what he basically says to all the students when he reads their work. When he reads Izzy's work, the work of your character, he seems very intrigued, and that's because he has some pretty obvious sexual interest in Izzy. The teacher, Leonard, has some sexual interest in Izzy. And that's why he's into her work, but no one else is. And that's a pretty basic setup of the play, but I think that's a good place to start with for here.
And Martin?
Martin is, like I said, I'm definitely no expert on the play yet. But what I've collected so far about Martin, his character, here, I'll be back in a second. Let me grab a pencil too. What I've collected about Martin is that he seems kind of shy, and he's very at odds with Leonard, more than just about any of the other characters. He hates their teacher, Leonard. He hates him.
Yeah.
He's shy. He won't show his work. But he's got this kind of suppressed anger. Like he's kind of an awkward guy at first, but he has this suppressed anger. And this scene is significant for him because I feel like it's kind of all of these suppressed thoughts that he's been hiding because he's kind of this awkward, quiet guy. These suppressed thoughts are all coming out in this scene all at once. Like there's a few beat changes in here where I really sense the switch from, it's almost like word vomit, like he's just spewing his thoughts for the first time in a while. And he's also into Izzy. As far as, I wouldn't say he's in love with Izzy, but he's definitely in lust with Izzy. And that becomes clear in this scene as well. I guess one thing that's important to ask is, do you want to work intimacy stuff today? Because A-Ray, obviously there's stage kisses in this, which I have no problem with, but there's this guy in our theater department, A-Ray, have you met him? He does stage combat and intimacy. He's great. And apparently he's coming to class Monday morning to work through intimacy with people who have intimate scenes. So if you want to go ahead and work on it.
Who else has them?
Somebody else is doing a scene from this play, and the scene is Martin and Kate, and they also kiss later in the play.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Martin is all over the place.
Oh my God, Martin.
Yeah, Martin is not the best guy. That's the other thing about him, is at first he comes off as this, just awkward dork of a guy, and you kind of realize he's maybe not the best guy, or at least he lets his penis do the thinking sometimes instead of his brain. But yeah, so there's at least one more group that has intimacy work, and apparently A-Ray is going to work with us on that Monday morning. So if you want to, we can just hold off on intimacy until Monday morning. Whichever you would rather do.
I don't have any problems with that.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just say save the intimacy for Monday morning. So what do you want to do now? Do you just want to
Maybe
read through it?
we can just first we can read that, because I feel we maybe should read that.
Yeah.
More than one time, and
For sure.
just try different things out. So I brought just a small bag. I think, yeah, maybe we can just try things out. And I don't know. I had the class 1 to 6 last semester with Marianne. So and we had some exercises where we had to touch the legs or arms or shoulders, and I figured out it's different here than in Germany, because here it's like that, you know?
Right.
And in Germany, I mean, I don't know why, but we didn't have any problems with touching each other, coming close to each other. It was very, how do you say? We weren't afraid of
open.
Yeah. So
yeah. I get that.
I would say if you don't have any problems, we can just look where we get. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't have much problem with working intimacy or holding off. I'm fine either way. So, yeah, I'd say a good place to start is just reading through it a couple of times, and then we can work on some, definitely not final, but like soft blocking and stuff, all that good stuff.
Because I think you're sit and I'm not sitting.
I think so. Now it says Martin sits on the couch. Obviously we don't have a couch, but here, let me pull up another block, and for now we can just pretend that's a couch. Obviously, this is all very soft blocking. I don't even think this scene needs that much hard blocking, if any. I mean, the movement should feel pretty natural, I think. Okay. Okay. So let's just read through it a few times, see what happens.
I feel like I felt it was weird to me when we read this last class, and I couldn't look into your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that was weird. As usually, how the first read through goes, I guess.
Usually I don't look in each other people's eyes when I'm just normal talking. But for acting, I think I need the connection.
Right. Yeah. For sure. And that'll be even better when we're both memorized, which obviously I'm not yet.
No, sorry, me either.
Well, we're in the same place then, so yeah. Okay. So let's just give it a read through.
You're an asshole.
I'm an asshole. He's an asshole. Not Douglas Leonard. I mean, I think Douglas is a shit writer, but he's not an asshole. He's actually not a shit writer either. He's a pretty good writer who mostly writes shit.
Which is what Leonard said.
Are you siding with Leonard now?
I'm not siding with anyone. This is a situation. What is the matter with you?
What's the matter with me?
You were about to tell Douglas, his story sucked. You were too, and I saved you, you jerk. Douglas is hooked up, and P.S. he's a good guy. You need to make him your friend. You want to keep getting rejected by Yaddo and McDowell? Why don't you just keep sending blind submissions to those places like every other loser in the world?
Hey, don't hold back.
I'm not, because you know what? I don't care what anyone says. We're in this together, and it's a game. It's a situation, and we need each other. Others can help you, us, and Leonard too.
Fuck Leonard. That guy is an asshole. Everybody was like, oh, he's amazing. He only takes a few students anymore. You'll learn so much. Well, this is what I'm learning. Give me my money back. I can't believe I scraped together $5,000 for this. I can't even pay rent.
Maybe the reason you're not learning anything, Martin, is that you haven't shown him any of your work. Has that occurred to you?
Well, maybe I don't want to show him my work because all I've seen him do for my fellow writers is stomp on their hearts or call them whores or turn them into whores. Sorry.
You mistake me, Martin, for someone who gives a shit what you think.
Yes. Yep, I see your point there. You should go ahead and do whatever you think you need to do.
Just for the record, however, I did not sleep with Leonard.
It's none of my business. You're right.
I didn't sleep with him. Don't you believe me?
It doesn't matter if I believe you or not, Izzy. It's not my business.
Are you calling me a liar now? No, I'm not just a whore. I'm a liar and a whore.
Now, I didn't say that.
Douglas is right. At least Leonard tells the truth.
Look, why are you mad at me? You're right. I'm pathetic. I'm a pathetic chicken, but I think you could do a lot better than that. You're so beautiful. You're exquisite, Izzy. Really just funny and smart and so full of life.
Am I?
Well, yeah.
You're right. Since I'm not sleeping with him, I could surely do a lot better.
Well, you could, yeah.
Could I?
Well, yeah.
How much better?
Well, a lot. Really, a whole lot. A lot. And cut. Do we want to work that today or not? Like I said, I'm fine either way. But if we do intimacy stuff, I think that should be a portion of rehearsal before we do that bit.
Skip that tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. So then we'll go on from there. I'll say really a whole lot, a lot. And then let's just move on with the rest of the scene, finish it out. Cool? All right. So, yeah, I'll start there. Well, a lot, really a whole lot, a lot. We'll just skip the stage kisses for time being and finish it out. Cool?
Yeah.
Well, a lot. Really, a whole lot. A lot.
You know what, Martin? I think you're right. Where's your bedroom?
Where's?
The bedroom. The bedroom.
I like that. That was good. And then obviously I'll lead you off wherever we decide that blocking is. And that's the scene. Cool. So, what are your first thoughts?
I would like to do this again, and
I would too, for sure.
I would like to, I wish I would have memorized that. I think I need, maybe we can try to, maybe I need to take more time for the sentence just to, before I speak them, just to see what I don't know, what I feel while I'm
right, for sure.
Telling the sentence.
Yeah, and when you have that memorized, yeah, for sure that makes it a lot easier. I mean, you can never have a complete, full connection with your partner until you're both memorized. So that's something we'll have to work on. And I'll try to memorize some of it tonight. I mean, if you wanted to, we could probably even dedicate a portion of this rehearsal to getting just like the beginning of it memorized, not the whole thing. But time being, we can run it again. So I think one thing I didn't realize when I was first reading this, like just the scene, when I was first reading the scene, and I realized after I read the play, is like I said, Leonard, their teacher, clearly has some sexual interest in Izzy.
But they haven't slept together.
They haven't, but a bunch of the other people in the class think they might have. Izzy might be using him to like get his approval. And that's what he's saying, that's what Martin is saying when he says, all I've seen him do for my fellow writers is stomp on their hearts or call them whores or turn them into whores. That's directed at Izzy. He's firing that shot right at Izzy. He's saying, Leonard has turned you into a whore. And that's like huge for Martin because he's such an awkward, weird character that like him saying something like that, like I said earlier, I just think it's word vomit. I think it's something he thought and just impulsively he said it, which is not quite like him. So I think that's a big thing, and that's a lot of that's on me, like getting that across. You have any thoughts on the character or anything? And if not, we can just run it again and experiment, play around with it.
Sometimes I really don't know. I don't have any connections to some sentences.
Oh yeah, me too. There's some things in here that I just need to figure out how to say, especially, hey, don't hold back. I don't feel that right now at all.
And Douglas, who's Douglas?
Douglas is another one of the 4 kids taking the class.
Okay.
So he's in the class with them. Yep.
What does that mean if you say you're siding? I'm on the same side with him, or do I have something with him?
No, that's just asking, am I on the same side as him? Are you agreeing with him over me?
Okay.
That's all that's saying for sure. I'm pretty sure at least. And let's see, is there anything else? Yeah, and I just need to work on this whole, he's awkward. Martin is an awkward guy for the rest of the play. So I have to just really make this sound like it's just this suppressed anger that's been built up and it's all being released at once.
I really should read the playwright until tomorrow.
Yeah, and I should read it more thoroughly. And that'll definitely help. That'll improve stuff. And I'll work on some memorization before tomorrow too. I probably won't be fully memorized since we're gonna be doing this again tomorrow. But I'll for sure try to have some of it memorized. So for now, you just want to run it again, play around with it.
What does he mean with "Hey, don't hold back"?
That's something I've been wondering myself. I'm trying to figure out how that reads. I think maybe it's sarcastic, maybe, but I can't quite figure it out because obviously Izzy is kind of roasting him. I mean, she's going off on him. She's saying, you want to keep getting rejected by Yaddo and McDowell. Why don't you just keep sending blind submissions like every other loser in the world?
What does that mean?
The Yaddo and McDowell is a publishing company, and he's taking this class with Leonard to become a better writer. But instead of giving his work to Leonard for Leonard to read it, because he's just seen Leonard stomp on his peers' work, so he doesn't want to give Leonard his work because he knows Leonard will just stomp on it and hate it. So instead of giving it to Leonard, he's just submitting it blindly and he just keeps getting turned down by Yaddo and McDowell. So that's what she's saying.
Okay.
She's saying, you want to keep sending your work to these people without anybody reading it? Fine, but you're just going to get rejected like everyone else. So I think that, hey, don't hold back might be him like, like I said, this is out of all of the lines in this is the one I least know how to deliver because I just don't feel it yet. But I think that might be him just like sarcastically acknowledging that she's being extremely
come on,
rude.
Tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, and I need to feel that one because I just don't right now. Anything else before we run it again? It's such a fast beat change. Such a fast beat change from Martin changing his whole, he's kind of berating her and then he's upset with her and then all of a sudden, really quickly, I think you could do better than that. And there's a switch right there to the you're so beautiful, Izzy, you're exquisite, really just funny and smart and so full of life.
He makes that. He turns her into a whore, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not, but...
Yeah, he's saying Leonard turned her into a whore. Yeah. And now he's calling her a whore. That's essentially him calling her a whore, and then, half a page later...
But I think he... Okay, maybe first. I don't really understand the meaning of this. For someone who gives a shit, what do you think?
So basically what I think that's saying is, obviously Martin has just said something incredibly mean to Izzy. I mean, the turn them into whores is directed at her. And that is like a degrading, dehumanizing thing to say to someone. And then he apologizes. He takes a moment and he thinks to himself, okay, that was too far. So he says, sorry. I think what she's saying is, you don't have to apologize because I don't care what you think. I think that's what that is. I think that's her saying, don't apologize to me because I don't give a damn what you think. So if you think I'm a whore, whatever, it doesn't matter. I think that's what that is.
Okay, because I just didn't understand that. Someone who gives she's the someone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and then I actually had a hard time interpreting the next line for a while. I just didn't understand it. But I think where he's going from there is I think that's instead of, I was reading it like, yes, I see your point there, but that's just not right. I think what it is like, yeah, I can see that you just don't care what I think. I think that's kind of him just being like, yep, I know you don't care what I think. Just do whatever you want. Just do whatever you want. That's him throwing in the towel and saying, whatever, you don't have to care what I think, just go do whatever. I think that's what that is. So it's interesting how the scene changes from, really quickly in that few lines.
I think he thinks, okay, you should go ahead and do whatever thing you need to do. I feel like, okay, he's expecting Izzy to leave now.
Yeah, I think. And then, yeah.
She does not. She keeps on talking with him.
Yeah, it's interesting. She goes from saying she doesn't care about what he thinks to clarifying, making herself feel more in the right by adding on, just for the record, however, I did not sleep with Leonard. I think that's a big deal too, because she's just said, I don't care what you think, but clearly to some extent she does, because she feels the need to tell him, just so you know, I didn't sleep with Leonard, so don't think about me like that. Yeah, I would say this whole little bit, this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so lines, that's where the most beat changes take place. It shifts over and over and over from Martin word vomiting to Martin realizing quickly, I shouldn't have said that, and apologizing, to Izzy saying, don't apologize because I don't care what you think, to Martin throwing in the towel and saying, fine, don't care what I think, then whatever, just whatever, I quit. And then Izzy saying, well, I know I just said I don't care what you think, but at least know this. It's interesting. Anyways, that's
And
my
now she
insight
does
on it.
care what he thinks about her.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, that's my insight on it. Cool. Yeah. I'm trying to look and see if there's anything else.
Yeah, she's upset maybe, and then he said, well, I didn't say that. And then she mentions Leonard, and she behaves as if she would go. Maybe she goes, gets her purse to go, but in fact she's still there. And I don't know, maybe the combination of mentioning Leonard again and behaving as she would leave, then Martin started again, like,
yeah, I think this is
stay here.
I think when Martin realizes that the situation has devolved enough that she's about to leave, I think there's another moment that it's kind of an immediate thing. He realizes, wait, no, I don't want her to go. I'm mad at her, but I don't want her to go. I think that's kind of what that is. And we all understand that feeling, like, you know, maybe any kind of situation has escalated and someone starts to walk out on it, and even though you were just yelling at them, you're like, wait, I don't want this to have escalated to the point that you're leaving, if that makes sense. I think that's kind of what that is. I think she realizes this has escalated to the point that she's leaving, and I don't want that.
He's afraid to show his feelings, I think.
Yeah.
And
and that kind of plays into that whole thing. Like I was saying earlier, he's a really awkward character. And so this whole scene is big for him because he's just finally throwing out his thoughts, which he hasn't done for the rest of the play. And then you get here, and he's kind of back to awkward, like, because he's trying to be genuine for the first time in the scene. He's trying to be genuine with her. Trying, not doing so well, but he's trying, and so you get that awkwardness back with all of the, well, yeah. So.
I feel she likes him.
Yeah, she does. And he likes her. He also likes Kate, the other girl. I think what
I don't know that. I don't want to know about that.
What I've picked up is that he likes Kate in a different way, and he's attracted to Izzy, if that makes sense. That's kind of where he's at. He's attracted to Izzy, and he likes Kate.
Oh, poor Izzy.
Poor Izzy, yeah.
She doesn't know that. Oh.
Yeah, she doesn't know that. Bless. Is that thing still recording? I think it is. Okay, yeah, it is. Good. I was about to freak out. All right, so.
But maybe, I mean, I have to read the play, but
yeah.
So far I don't have a special connection to Izzy. I just feel, okay, she's not a bad person here in this scene. She just is into a complicated guy, or likes a complicated guy, or I don't know.
Right.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe she's also pretty and she's used to use that a bit. I don't know.
I haven't read the play enough to know that for sure either, but that's an interesting alternative take on it.
Not in this situation, because
yeah.
she likes him, but maybe
I think that might, right, yeah, for sure. I think that might be part of why everyone thinks that she got involved with Leonard, or maybe not that she got involved with Leonard, but that she's not telling him, you know, this is inappropriate, that she's not stepping up and saying, hey, you're my teacher, you can't treat me like that. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that, and that'll change how I read the scene, so that's good. Good stuff. Anything else that needs to be mentioned before we give it another go, and then we can talk about it some more?
I feel she's bad. I feel pity for her.
I do too. I don't feel pity for Martin. But you know,
well, there's a way to like
I
him.
understand Martin. Yeah.
Maybe he's too afraid and he thinks he will never get an attractive woman. Maybe he never had one, and maybe he tries to get less attractive.
I mean,
because his self-conscious is so maybe little. I don't know.
I understand where he's coming from. So like, I get it. I mean, I get what he's coming from. I get liking one person and being attracted to another. I can understand that. And I don't think he's an inherently bad person. Like I said, and so many guys do this. And it's a personal thing. I've never done this, like sleeping with someone, but I've made bad decisions out of lust, mostly with like the relationships I chose to be in high school, or one of them in particular. But anyways, that's a whole ordeal. But like, so I get it. I get him. I think this is him thinking less with his head and more with his hormones. I think that's kind of what this is, the end of this scene. And so like, I understand that. And the thing I'm trying to avoid, because my gut reaction is, man, Martin's a dick. But I know lots of people that make just poor choices because of attraction. And that doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. It just means they're making a bad choice. And it's dangerous when you're playing a character to say, well, this is a bad person, because then it's hard to embody him.
Izzy likes him. I don't know why. She doesn't know why.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it, that she just doesn't understand why. Yeah, I think so.
I can understand Izzy. I don't know. I think I have the same.
Yeah, and I get Martin. So hopefully this will be a good scene by the end of this process.
I really feel I can feel into Izzy, because I feel like, okay, I know that she will be sad.
Mm. And I know Martin will regret it, and I think he does later in the play. So I get Martin too.
So
regrets this whole thing.
He just feels attracted to Izzy, but you don't think he's not considering getting Izzy to know better, or
I don't think that's it.
About her?
It's not that he doesn't care about her at all. But I think it stemmed from the attraction. And he found himself, just infatuated with her right away because of her looks. And he let himself fall head over heels for that. But it wasn't anything super legitimate. And that becomes clear in the play later when, he kisses Kate and wants to make up with her. He's just the kind of guy who, like I said, lets his hormones dictate his emotions.
Or maybe it's also for his self-consciousness, like, oh, now I get two.
Yeah.
Because maybe he suffers from the fear that he will never get the woman, or I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe
he I think
wants
that's a good
to
thought.
be the best writer, and he wants also to be the best in or not in relationships, like to have the best woman,
right,
or
right,
like an award. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. I think that could be part of it. Bottom line is, we both need to read the play more thoroughly. I've read over it, but just briefly.
Yeah, but in this book that we are supposed to read, How to Stop Acting. They do this. They just read through the scene without knowing anything.
Yeah, they do.
So, okay. maybe we will do this again.
Run it again? All right. And especially in the early stages like this, I'm just going to play around a lot and see what works.
Yeah. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine, whenever you want to do that.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. You're an asshole.
I'm an asshole? He's an asshole. Not Douglas, Leonard. I mean, Douglas is a shit writer, but he's not an asshole. And, well, he's actually not a shit writer either. He's a good writer who mostly writes shit.
Which is what Leonard said.
Are you siding with Leonard now?
I'm not siding with anyone. This is the situation. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with me?
You were about to tell Douglas his story sucked.
I was just...
You were too. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. You were too. And I saved you, you jerk. Douglas is hooked up, and P.S. he's a good guy. You need to make him your friend. You want to keep getting rejected by Yaddo and McDowell? Why don't you just keep sending blind submissions to those places like every other loser in the world?
Don't hold back.
I'm not, because you know what? I don't care what anyone says. We're in this together. And it's a game, it's a situation, and we need each other. Douglas can help us. Leonard too.
Fuck Leonard. The guy is an asshole. Everybody was like, oh, he's amazing. He only takes a few students anymore. You'll learn so much. Well, you know what I'm learning? Just give me my money back. I can't believe I scraped together $5,000 for this. I can't even pay my rent.
Maybe the reason you're not learning anything, Martin, is that you haven't shown him any of your work. Has that occurred to you?
Well, maybe I don't want to show him my work because all I've seen him do for my fellow writers is stomp on their hearts or call them whores or make them whores. Sorry.
You mistake me, Martin, for someone who gives a shit.
Yes, I see your point there. You should just do whatever you think you need to do.
Just for the record, however, I did not sleep with Leonard.
You're right. It's none of my business anyways.
I didn't sleep with him! Don't you believe me?
It doesn't matter if I believe you or not, Izzy. It's none of my business.
Are you calling me a liar now? No, I'm not just a whore, I'm a liar and a whore.
I didn't say that.
Douglas is right. At least Leonard tells the truth.
Look, why are you mad at me? Okay, you're right. I'm pathetic. I'm a pathetic chicken, but I think you could do a lot better than that. You're so beautiful, Izzy. You're exquisite, just really funny and smart and so full of life.
Am I?
Well, yeah.
You're right. Since I'm not sleeping with him, I could surely do a lot better.
Well, you could.
Could I?
Well, yeah.
How much? better?
A lot. Really, a whole lot. A lot.
Okay. This felt much better to me.
Me too, definitely. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, that did feel much better. There were still beats in there that I need to pick up on. Like, I think the biggest thing that I noticed that time around. Still, I'm not quite feeling the, hey, don't hold back. But a lot of that felt better. And then the other thing for me is I feel like right when you start to go, I feel like that's him quickly just blurting out. And I took a moment there. I think when he starts yelling, look, why are you mad at me? And that's on me. I think I just need to jump right into that. Do you have anything you wanted to say, like, that you felt like needed to be changed about my part or the scene in general? Anything you felt?
This time I really felt this, what you said to me. It's really hurts.
And I like the feel of the end of this. It wasn't perfect, but I like the feel of kind of what you laid down as Izzy, is that she's realizing that Martin's very into him. And
I feel like Lizzie is, as soon as he says that, she gets in the situation, turns into something where she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. I think so.
She knows.
She knows how to be intimate. Yeah, and yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I felt that for sure. And I think from Martin's end, like I said, he's an awkward guy, so I think he's like struggling through the situation. Like he sees Izzy coming, he's like, oh shit, she's about to make a move. I think like back in the back of his head, he knows she's about to make a move based on how she's acting, and he just doesn't know what to do with that.
But she knows, and I think this is the harmony at the end.
Yes, and I think finally, like it even says, that Martin, the final thing is he finally comes to his senses and takes her off to his bedroom. So like, until that moment, he's like in awe of the situation. Like he doesn't know how to process it quite. But yeah, I think by the end, there's definitely a sort of harmony, even if in that harmony, Martin is awkward.
Yeah, this
weird.
is the kind of level they can go along very well together.
Yeah.
Because before that, it was like, I don't know, she stayed there, she called him an asshole, he's an asshole, and I'm staying here, and she's trying to help him, and still calls him a jerk, and tries to make clear what he could do better.
Right.
And then he calls her a whore.
Right, yeah.
But then, yeah.
So.
And maybe he doesn't expect that she means him. Maybe he's very surprised that she thinks he's the better option. I think
that is a lot of it. I think he's in shock of the situation and being the kind of reserved guy that he's proven himself to be for the majority of the play up until this point. Like at this point, it all comes out. But until then, he's been pretty reserved. Like she's saying, he won't even share his work with Leonard. He won't let Leonard see his work. He's just a reserved guy. But he's got all this suppressed emotion that's coming out here. And I think, he's definitely shocked that this situation is happening, and that quiet, reserved awkwardness is showing. It's bleeding. He's bleeding that at the end because he's happy with the situation. He's happy that Izzy's making a move, but he just doesn't know how to process it, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, I thought like that time the movement felt much more natural too, like with you coming to sit down and then getting up.
We should repeat that.
Yeah, I think for Leonard, I mean Martin.
Try to go around.
I think for Martin, I think he is kind of just glued to the couch because he's frustrated and upset. I think he's mostly glued to the couch until Izzy starts to leave. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think as Izzy, you have a lot more freedom to, and who knows, if I feel an impulse for Martin to move, I'll act on that. But right now, the impulse I'm feeling is he's glued to the couch because he's just wallowing in this anger. He's just finally letting this anger come out and, you know, living in it. There's an ad on my computer. Go away. Okay, another one.
Is it still recording? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So
maybe we can do this again. Maybe we can just continue that because I don't know. I feel like if we are so close together, like I don't know, here.
Yeah.
Really a lot.
Yeah, even without the stage kiss, that sets the mood a lot more. So yeah, we can, and this is comfortable, so we can for sure, when we get to that point, you can move closer to here, and we can just read the rest of the scene without the stage kiss.
Because I don't know, I just had the impulse already during the first time reading that she just touches his chest, and I don't know, maybe she goes around or tries to speak in his ear, or I mean, I can play around with all the bedroom words. Or I don't know.
And that can even be a funny moment. There's so many ways you can interpret that line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this play actually is, a lot of it is a comedy. And I don't think this is a super comedic scene, obviously. But the play as a whole is a comedy. So there's a few lines in here that we can play around with making funny. And that could be one of them. But I think that can be an equally serious line. And since it's your line, especially, you should just go with whatever your impulse feels like at that moment. And then we together can decide what we want ultimately. But, you know, right now we're in a very experimental phase. But yeah, I think by getting close and then finishing out the scene, and then
I like this bottom here. I like I don't know, when she just do this and like this. I don't know.
Yeah, and then Martin will walk off with her.
Maybe I like these buttons. Maybe I can do something with that.
Maybe I'll make sure to wear a button-down shirt when we run this scene.
It's a bit cliche, but
ain't nothing wrong with cliche. And then, like I said, Monday morning, A-Ray will be in class to get more in depth with the intimacy stuff. And we'll probably just spend 10 or 15 minutes with it. I know he does a bunch of exercises with, you know, you touch your partner's hands, you touch here, and then you touch each other here, and then shoulders. I don't remember the whole thing. I wish I did, because otherwise we could just do it, but I genuinely don't remember it. But I know it starts, you touch your partner's hands, look in their eyes, touch their arms here, look in their eyes, and then shoulders, look in their eyes, and then there's a few other things that I don't remember. So, but he'll work with that stuff Monday, so that'll get even cleaner and feel more natural too. But yeah, I say we can save the stage kiss, but aside from that, I'm fine with any touching here. I'm okay with that, so just do whatever you feel in the moment. That looked like something I would do. Want to run it again? See what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to try to be even less glued to my script this time, but obviously I'm not off book yet, so.
You're an asshole.
I'm an asshole? He's an asshole. Not Douglas, Leonard. I mean, I think Douglas is a shit writer, but he's not an asshole. Well, he's not a shit writer either. He's a pretty good writer who mostly writes shit.
Which is what Leonard said.
Are you siding with Leonard now?
I'm not siding with anyone. This is the situation. What is the matter with you?
What's the matter with me?
You're about to tell Douglas his story, sir. You were too, and I saved you, you jerk. Douglas is hooked up, and P.S. he's a good guy. You need to make him your friend. You want to keep getting rejected by Yaddo and McDowell? Why don't you just keep sending blind submissions to those places like every other loser in the world?
Hey, don't hold back.
I'm not, because you know what? I don't care what anyone says. We're in this together, and this is a game. It's a situation, and we need each other. Douglas can help us, and Leonard too.
Fuck Leonard. Guy's an asshole. Everybody was like, oh, he's amazing. He only takes a few students anymore. You'll learn so much. Well, you know what I'm learning? Give me my money back. I can't believe I paid $5,000 for this. I can't even pay my rent.
Maybe the reason you're not learning anything, Martin, is that you haven't shown him any of your work. Has that occurred to you?
Well, maybe I don't want to show my work because all I've seen him do for my fellow writers is stomp on their hearts or call them whores or make them whores. Sorry.
You mistake me, Martin, for someone who gives a shit what you think.
Yes, I see your point there. You should just do whatever you think you need to do.
Just for the record, I did not sleep with Leonard.
It's none of my business. You're right.
Are you calling me a liar now? No, I'm not just a whore, but a liar and a whore?
I didn't say that.
Douglas is right. Miss Leonard tells the truth.
Look, why are you mad at me? You're right, okay? I'm pathetic. I'm a pathetic chicken, but I just think you can do so much better than that. You're so beautiful, Izzy, exquisite, really just funny and smart and full of life.
Am I?
Well, yeah.
You're right. Since I'm not sleeping with him, I could surely do a lot of better.
Well, you could.
Could I?
Well, yeah.
Much better.
A lot. Really, a whole lot. A lot.
You know what, Martin? I think you're right. Where's your bedroom?
Where's...
Your bedroom.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. That feels much better. And of course, for me, finding the fine line of, especially at the end here, where he's basically saying, well, yeah, over and over again to Izzy when she's asking if she could do better. I have to make that feel a little more natural. I think it should feel awkward, because I think Martin is feeling awkward in that situation, but it just didn't quite feel authentic on my end. Yeah, I really liked your instinct there. That was good. That'll be really nice, I think.
You know what? I like this. I like this when I was standing there and you were standing here, and I'm just moving from here to there and blah blah blah. And when you were telling this the good things, I'm so looking for this. I'm waiting the whole time. Please tell me you like me. Please tell me I'm good. Please tell me all the things, and please come to me. But you stayed there. You just kept telling these things, and you don't give me more. You will never give me more. And again, I come to you.
Yeah, I think
it will always be the same, and this is what makes her tragic. This is why I feel pity, because again, she has to come here.
Martin is too afraid to go to her.
He won't leave his island.
Right, he's too afraid to go to her. I think that's a lot of it. And I think there's this whole thing of...
And at the end, she gets it.
Yeah.
He
finally leans into it. Like, he finally accepts the situation. Like, he doesn't know how to handle it.
And she finds the level when she can really, or maybe she takes his hand and finally pull him away from this shit couch.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like, for me, the symbol, okay, how can I get you off that place?
Yeah, I like that. I like this idea that we've kind of subconsciously concocted, that one of the objectives, there's an acting word if you're still watching, Marianne, objective. That one of the big objectives, strangely enough, is just getting Martin off of the couch. And I think it makes sense for the story, because I think Martin, when he's wallowing in this anger, he doesn't want to leave because he's just so caught up in the anger, and he just wants to sit here and be angry. I understand that completely. When I get angry, I just want to be left alone. I want to be right here in my world of anger, and I don't want anyone else there. So I get that. I don't want to make eye contact. I mean, I probably will make some if I'm talking, but even then I'm going to avoid it. And I think, the first big step is I sense him standing up when she starts to leave, because he realizes he has to do something then. So he finally stands up and acknowledges her, finally looks at her and speaks to her. But even then, because he's trying to be genuine, he's scared to really move. That's the impulse I get. He's scared to go to her. That awkward shyness is coming out again, because now he is trying to, level with her about how he feels about her. He's trying to do that to some extent. But because he's awkward and shy, he's scared to, and so he's scared to even say it. Like, you can tell that just based on the script, even, like the way it's worded. He's not eloquent in saying his feelings. And so he's definitely too scared to move to her. That's what I sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just standing here.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a good dynamic. The dynamic of Izzy wanting Martin, you wanting me to go to you, but me being too scared to go to you.
I don't know when you're scared or what keeps you there, what keeps you away from coming to me.
Yeah,
I don't understand why is this so complicated? Why can't we just be together?
And then I'm just stuck in the idea that I just said all these horrible things to you. There's no way I'm gonna make a good, legitimate move, and I'm scared of rejection. So there's no way I can
maybe Izzy
move
is the
there.
person everyone thinks, oh, she could get all the men she wants.
Right.
And in fact, at the end, she doesn't get anyone because she's maybe not the person who wants to have. She's not a young man like, okay, I feel attracted by her, I go to her, then next day I go to her, and then she's not that, maybe. She likes him, she sees he's an asshole, but she still likes him, and she follows her feelings, her heart, and then maybe this is the reason why she doesn't get the man she likes. Because she likes a special one, and everyone thinks, oh, she could get anyone, and no one feels pity for her. Because maybe everyone thinks, yeah, well, she's pretty, she can get everyone, why should we care? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that interpretation of Izzy. And the way I'm kind of interpreting Martin is I see him as, I have a friend who was a lot like Martin in the sense that I don't feel like Martin is a bad guy. Like I said this earlier, I just feel like he's bad with relationships and his feelings. So like a lot of people, while they don't feel sympathy for Izzy based on your interpretation, which I think is a perfectly legitimate one and I like it, they do feel sympathy for Martin because they just see him as a kind of awkward, shy, nice guy. That's what they see. They see nice guy who's just shy and awkward, but they don't see that because he's allowing, hormones to dictate his emotions, or just maybe not even that, maybe just he's attached himself to too many people, and that's just as bad of a thing. But either way, they don't see that. Most people don't see that about him. So they do feel some sympathy for him, which puts a kind of interesting dynamic on it because the audience clearly sees him as the bad guy in this situation, the bad guy.
But if he after that, I don't know if he has friends, but if he goes to his guys and says, hey, you know what? With what woman I slept with?
Right.
Look at her. I show you the picture and all of it. Yeah, you did it. God.
Yeah.
Dude. And Izzy?
Yeah.
She can't do this. She cannot do this. She will keep it as a secret. She won't tell anyone because either everyone's sad, ask her, why did you sleep with that asshole? You're so stupid. Or, oh my God, Izzy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting take on it. Because Martin's just kind of a dweeb up until this point. Shy, awkward guy who won't show anything. Yeah, I like that. So I think there's only so much we can do today since we haven't read the full thing and we're not memorized. Like I said, you can find it online. It's not that I had to do some digging because technically you're supposed to buy it. I didn't do that.
Buy it.
But I did find it and read over it briefly. But we should both do that and work a little on memorization so that when we come back tomorrow, we can do more. But I think for now, maybe just run it one more time with everything we just talked about and that we've talked about up to this point in mind. See what happens and call it a day.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you something else.
Yeah, for sure. Anything.
When I asked you where's the bedroom, and you said, where's, I had the thing. Okay, did he understand that I'm asking where's the restroom?
I would have never thought about it like that.
You were looking at me like, did she say where's the restroom, or did she say where's the bedroom? Like that, the bedroom, not the restroom.
That's funny. I wouldn't have thought about that. I think a lot of that right there is just complete and utter shock. Like, he doesn't know, he wasn't ready for that question. Like, he was ready for a lot of stuff. But he's
he
just
was
like, what the fuck?
No, there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think,
restroom.
yeah, for sure.
And his restroom is for sure not tidy. I don't know if we are at his place. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm asking for the bedroom, of course.
Yeah. And it's funny because his place is not his place. If you read the play, it's introduced very early on. He can't pay rent. Right now where they are is Kate's apartment. And Kate that's where they're having their class. They're having the class in Kate's apartment because it's huge and it's free. Her parents pay for all of it. Kate's parents pay for the apartment. But when Martin couldn't pay his rent, they have like 9 bedrooms in that apartment. So Martin was like, I can't pay my rent. Can I please just stay with you? And so Kate said, yeah, you can have another one of the bedrooms. So they're actually in Kate's apartment right now, which is where he's living. It is his place, but it's also Kate's place. And that's the next scene. We don't get there.
This is so good because it's not his couch, it's Kate's couch. And this makes me want to even more get you away from this couch.
Yep. Because none of it's
This
his.
is Kate. I don't like you to be there.
I like that. Yeah, that's something that's been I've thought about too. For sure. Yeah. The plot thickens. Poor Izzy. So you want to run it?
First to be pretty.
Run it one more time?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do it one more time. Call it a day.
What were they doing before that scene?
They were in class with Leonard, and then Leonard leaves. Yeah, so Leonard leaves. And it's been a bad class. Leonard just tore people's hearts open again. And then they all kind of butt heads because tensions are high. And then here we are. Kate and Douglas run out. So right here, yeah. So they just left class. Leonard has ripped to shreds Douglas's story. And then Martin says, after Leonard has left, he says, I think it's a good story. Douglas says, fuck you, you think it's shit. At least he told me what he really thinks. Could someone check in the hallway and make sure that he's gone? They talk about him being gone. And Douglas is upset. So he just says, when they confirm that he's gone, Douglas just leaves and Kate chases after him. And then it's just Izzy and Martin.
Do you think Kate likes Douglas?
I think Kate at least cares for Douglas, yes.
I think maybe she's more social than Izzy. I don't know. I feel Izzy is a lonely fighter, or how do you say, like she fights for herself, and maybe she's not necessarily the person that's so social that she cares all about the other classmates, and she stays here. She tries to tell you these things because she has personal interest in you. And not because the primary goal is not to, like what Kate did, just run behind Douglas and try to talk with him.
See, it's interesting though. I think she cares about Douglas, but I think she really cares about Martin. Like, first of all, she let Martin stay at her place. And then second of all, if you read right after our scene, it says, finally, Kate steps inside the open door from the hallway where she has witnessed the whole scene. She leans against the door, closing it behind her. After a moment alone, she starts to cry.
But she's social, because this is why, I mean, if she really likes Martin, if she likes Martin, maybe, but she doesn't stay here. In this situation, she cares for Douglas.
Yeah, and I think that might just
And
be
Izzy
wanting to make sure he's okay.
After that, Izzy turns.
Right.
So she's not so.
Well, that's how it goes. All right, I'm ready to run it whenever you are.
You're an asshole.
I'm an asshole? He's an asshole, not Douglas, Leonard. I mean, I think Douglas is a shit writer, but he's not an asshole. And he's not actually a shit writer either. He's a pretty good writer who mostly writes shit.
Which is what Leonard said.
Are you siding with Leonard now?
I'm not siding with anyone. This is the situation. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with me?
You were about to tell Douglas your story, sir.
I was just...
You were too, and I saved you, you jerk. Douglas is hooked up, and he's a good guy. And you need to make friends with him. You need to make him your friend. You want to keep getting rejected by Yaddo and McDowell? Why don't you just keep sending blind submissions to those places like every other loser in the world?
Hey, don't hold back.
I'm not, because you know what? I don't care what anyone says. We're in this together. And it's a game. It's a situation, and we need each other. Douglas can help us, and Leonard too.
Fuck Leonard. The guy is an asshole. Everybody was like, oh, he's amazing. He only takes a few students anymore. You'll learn so much. Well, you know what I'm learning? Give me my money back. I just can't believe that I spent $5,000 for this. I mean, I can't even pay my rent.
Maybe the reason you're not learning anything, Martin, is that you haven't shown him any of your work. Has that occurred to you?
Well, maybe I don't want to show my work because all I've seen him do for my peers is stomp on their hearts or call them whores or make them whores. Sorry.
You mistake me, Martin. For someone who gives a shit.
Yes, I see your point there. You should just do whatever you think is right.
Just for the record, however, I did not sleep with him.
It's none of my business. You're right.
I didn't sleep with him. Why don't you believe me?
It doesn't matter if I believe you or not, Izzy. It's none of my business.
Are you calling me a liar now? No, I'm not just a whore. I'm a liar and a whore.
I didn't say that.
Douglas is right. And Leonard tells me.
Look, why are you mad at me? Okay, you're right. I'm pathetic. I'm a pathetic chicken, but I just think you can do so much better than that. I mean, you're so beautiful, Izzy. You're exquisite. Really just funny and smart and so full of life.
Am I?
Well, yeah.
You're right. Since I'm not sleeping with him, I could do a lot better.
Well, you could.
Could I?
Yeah. Oh, well, a lot. Really, a whole lot. A lot.
You know what, Maggie? I think you're right. Where's your bedroom?
Where's
The bedroom button.
I like that. I like that ending. Cool. So yeah, I feel much better about that than the beginning. So we can both read the play, do a little more character work, and come back tomorrow and see what we've got. Sound good?
Yeah.
Do you just want to meet here tomorrow? Instead of over at
yeah,
Fireworks?
now I know where I have to go.
Cool. We'll do that then. Meet here tomorrow. All right, let's stop this recording. Peace out, Marianne. Yeet.